before throwing the Denon back together, I figured I would just give it one more look at just before closing it up and condemning it, although I think that yesterday I spent far too much time on it. The problem is a lot more serious, as we discovered. I figured I'd give it one last kick at the can before throwing it together, and let's see if I've made any progress. So what I'm doing on here is, just before I put this together, I'm just, on the unit itself, if I press anywhere on the board here, just lightly press on it, I hear a lot of noise, a lot of static, and a lot of crackling. Still get the sound back, but I hear lots of racket. Now, this is the DA converter, or sorry, yeah, DA converter, the AD converter is over here. This is the DA, it's a Burr Brown DA converter. This one's the digital filter. As I say, if I touch anywhere, just any type of pressure anywhere in here, I get a big racket. Now this cap was one of the ones that was leaking. I'm just looking to see if maybe the traces might be damaged and it's not going all the way through. Let me just measure through here and see whether this is where we're losing the voltage. This is before I put this thing together and move on. I mean, I've wasted so much time on this now. I'll spend another few minutes on it before I give up completely. Try to get the camera out of the way here so that you can see what I'm doing, because I got to put on my headset to actually see anything here. So that's that. Gotta make sure that I've got continuity through here, which I do on that pin, and this one here goes to there. So I do have continuity. So it's not like the trace was eaten that badly. What I'm concerned is that electrolytic went down through the board here. Or this unit was dropped or bounced, because the guy that sent me this, I'm sure he bought this off of eBay and it didn't work. There's certainly a board problem on here somewhere. So I'm just making sure that there's nothing, any cracks or anything that are obvious, which I don't see any. And the connections over here look okay too. You can see that there's some corrosion right there. That does go through though. What about this one? And that one goes through there, but where does it go up on this side? It comes over to here. Right, so I'm basically just making some measurements through the board to see whether there's any traces that are damaged. Because obviously, if there's a voltage missing, then we're not going to have anything working. Reinstall that cap that I took out. And I've said this before, and I guess it doesn't get through to people, and I have to say it again. And you know how it makes me angry when I have to repeat myself. Quoting from Jurassic Park, incidentally. When you send me something for repair, it has to be declared when it's coming in from the States or anywhere else for that matter. It has to be declared as an item coming in for temporary export for repair. Otherwise, what happens is, well, they don't know that it's coming in for repair. they think that I've bought it, and they assess taxes. So the fellow sent me a tape recorder to repair, and he put a high value on the thing, and it's sitting there now with like $48 in taxes and broker fees, and if he had sent it by FedEx, it would have had another $37 in broker fees added. But even the post office will assess a $10 broker fee plus the taxes, because a value was declared on it, which is more than the unit probably cost when it was new. Well, maybe not, but pretty close to. But it's an old Sony tape recorder, and it's sitting there now waiting to be have the duties paid on it before I can pick it up. So now I have to go back to the owner and say, hey man, you got to pay the duties, otherwise it's going to come back to you unrepaired, and they're going to charge you the freight to send it back. All because of a screw up when it was shipped. You know, nothing coming into Canada ever has any taxes or duties charged on it if it's coming in for repair. Only things that are being exported to stay here, like if I were to buy something. Anything else, it's there's no duties on it. But this happens all the time. Like this is not the first time this has happened. This is happening all the time, and people still don't get it. Then they get mad and slam the government, saying, "Oh, that Canadian government's charging all this money." Well, it's not. It's because it's declared as something that's still nothing. Right? It's declared incorrectly. Now here's what I was getting at. If I got the sound turned on, which I do, if I just press on the board, hear that? So this board is got a problem. I can touch anywhere here, right? It's really bad in that area there. So I get the feeling that this probably, at some point in its life, the capacitors were one thing, because, I mean, we saw them leaking. This is some of the old ones here. They were just puking their guts. That's part of the problem, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this unit was dropped. And that's that. Well, at least for the guy that owns it, because he's got another one identical to this, and he's got two Casios, which also are the same unit. At least he has, at least he's got a working spare. He's got, or not a working, but he's got a parts spare. Good heads, good transport, just a bad main board. So I'm going to leave this one at this point and just throw it together, because it's just, to say, I figured I would just put this little update on just so you guys could click on it, and I could make a couple dollars from you guys watching the update, which really nothing happened other than we kind of took a last look at this unit before condemning it. But unfortunately, once you get a bad board, it's it'd be great if it had just been the capacitors that have been bad, but when you get a bad board, I mean, even these chips, I looked up that chip just for the hell of it, and somebody's actually got one of those PCM chips. They want $48 for the chip. Like, are you kidding me? But I guess if someone needs a chip and they're desperate for it, they would pay it. Oops. Anyway, I'm going to end this now. Throw this together and get on to the next one, which is coming up right now.